Hello guys, and welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for all the support, and thank you so much for all the subscribers. I really appreciate it. So this is the final week before a lot of you are writing accounting. I think it's on Wednesday, so it's like 2 days away. So this is just a quick how to prepare. So firstly, I recommend that whichever calculator you're going to write exam with, use that calculator while studying. It just helps to get used to the calculator. Then the next thing is it's always handy to have a highlighter with you. Accounting usually likes a ruler, a pencil, and then obviously the pen you're going to be writing with, as well as 2 backup pens just for in case. Okay, now you might be wondering what to expect from the exam. This is just an example of a previous exam. It's the June-July 2018. What you have to look at here is the mark allocation out of 100. So the bank recon statement counted 27%. So if you get everything right, you'll already have 27% for your bank recon. The biggest part of the exam question was the statement of financial position and note for property, plant and equipment. That counted 43 marks, or 43%, which is quite a lot. Membership fees is only 25%, it's only a quarter. And the multiple choice questions, the theory is 5. The reason why I want to talk about bank recon is because I don't have a video on bank recon yet, and it's really important and it's a big chunk of marks. And I also don't think it's that hard. Like once you figure it out, it's actually okay. But before we get to bank recon, there's 1 or 2 other tips you need to know. And that is, it really helps if you line your numbers up when doing accounting. So if you write 12,300, and then you're going to write 500. Don't write the 500 there, okay? Because it's really confusing and you can't count it. So just make an absolute habit out of it of always lining up your numbers, going down, so that it's much easier to count it. And then you can also see what's going on. So try and line up your numbers. Okay, that's one of my very serious exam tips. My other serious exam tip is when you're busy with a question, read the requirements first. So read the requirements first. It's always at the end of the question. Okay, so start with the end in mind and read the requirements first. Once you've read the requirements, you can have a look at the additional information. But what really helps is also if you write down your framework before you get stressed and worried about the question. Okay, so read the requirements first and then draw up your framework. What I mean with framework, I will explain it just now. We're going to get there. Now we're going to do an example of a bank recon. I'm going to start with an easier one, and then I'm going to do a second video on a slightly harder one. So the easier one that I want to start with, I'm going to use the TUT letter 102-3-2018. Even if you're in a different year, like maybe people are watching this in 2025 and they're like, oh no, we don't have that one. It's fine, just have a look at the framework and then, you know, it's all just about framework. Ha, that's so funny, there's my shopping list. Okay, so here we have the question. The question looks like this. It says, the following information relates to Wiseman Limited. Then there's lots of information, but I just said we start with what is required. Okay, so start with required. Required says, complete the cash payments journal and cash receipts journal of Wiseman Limited. Let me highlight this for you. Cash payments journal and cash receipts journal of Wiseman Limited. Including transactions given already for October 21. So always read the full sentence. It's quite important. Don't stop halfway and think you know what's going on. B. Prepare the bank account in the general ledger of Wiseman Limited properly balanced at 31 October. So the bank account for the general ledger, and then also prepare the bank recon statement of Wiseman Limited at 31 October. So what we're going to do for this one, bank recon, is we're going to work on a framework for a bank recon. When they ask you for a bank recon, there's 1 or 2 things you need to know, and that is what we're going to talk about today. First up, if we do a bank recon, we are going to have a cash receipts journal, cash receipts journal, with a date, details, and amount. Then we are going to leave a lot of space open, and then we're going to have a cash payables, cash payments journal. We're also going to write date, details, and amount. Then we're going to have the bank account for the general ledger, and we are going to have the bank recon statement. So the bank recon statement. This is not page 2, you do that on another page. This is page 1, and you're going to leave spaces open. Okay, please leave space open. If you don't leave space open, you're going to get so confused with your own work, you won't know what's going on. Like here already, it's way too squashy. Let's erase that. This is the bank general ledger, but we don't have space for that, so we're just going to erase that. So we've got the cash receipts journal. And you must just make a note to yourself, this is trade receivables control. Trade receivables control. And here you have the cash payments journal, and you just make a little note for yourself. This is trade payables. Okay, it makes perfect sense. If it's the cash payments journal, payments, then your little crib note here must say trade payables. And if it's the receivable journal, then it says trade receivables control. Okay, that's just something you need to remember. Okay. What we are working towards is a page that looks like this. But I'm not going to show that to you just yet. Now, bank statement, bank recon statement. Bank recon statement. The bank recon statement, it'll have details over here. And then over here, it has a debit and a credit side. Debit and credit. You need to be able to draw this for the exam. You must say bank recon statement as at October, details, debit, credit. How this is going to look, and it's pretty much always going to look exactly like this. So just, accounting seems very tricky, but it's actually just a bunch of frameworks that you need to memorize. And once you have the frameworks, everything else makes so much sense. Like all of a sudden the subject isn't Greek anymore. The subject is fill in the blanks. So always, you have bank recon statement, details, debit, credit. Then you always start with bank. Balance. Okay. As per bank account. So bank statement. Statement. Ignore what I just said, statement. Okay. And here at the bottom, you'll always have bank as per bank account. What will this be? Maybe balance. Let's say balance as per bank account, and that's bank balance as per bank statement. In this example, you have a positive bank account. Okay, you have positive, you've got money in the bank, so it's a positive, that's a plus, it's a very ugly plus. Okay, it's favorable, so it's a plus. It doesn't matter if it's a plus or a minus. But if it's a plus, so if your bank balance is positive, you need to know that the bank statement side is going to be a credit. And the balance as per bank account in your general ledger will be a debit. Okay. So one of those things you don't need to overthink. You just have to memorize. This is the way it looks if your bank balance is positive. So if you have a positive balance. This means that by your T account, it's going to be a debit. But don't get bogged down in the details, just memorize this. Bank balance as per bank statement, positive goes credit, and positive here per bank account goes this side. This little thingy, this statement will also have a totals column, which I didn't really leave enough space for. But whatever is on this side will always be here on this side. Okay. Then there's one or two things that can be, that's almost always in between these two. Okay, these two don't need to be the same. If they're not the same, don't worry. The totals need to be the same. Okay, then you're going to have outstanding checks. Outstanding checks. Checks. Now, what's lovely about an outstanding check, they don't mean it's outstanding like it's amazing. Like, oh, you were so outstanding yesterday. That's not what they mean. They mean it's outstanding as in it has not been on your bank statement. Okay, it's outstanding on your bank statement. That means it goes on the debit side over here. An outstanding check goes on the debit side. Just memorize this. We also have outstanding deposits. Outstanding deposits always goes on the credit side over here. This is all just memorization. Just deal with it. There we go. If you can memorize this, you're already going to get quite a lot of marks for this question. So before we even look at the actual question, this is a lot of marks. Going to write down bank recon statement as at October, details, debit credit side. You're going to say favorable bank balance as per bank statement. You're going to write it on the credit side. Outstanding checks, that'll give you lots of numbers for the checks. You write them here underneath each other. You line up the numbers right nicely over there. Outstanding deposits will go on that side. And then your balance as per your bank account. This is now your bank account, like your general ledger bank account. Okay, this is your accounting bank account. It goes this side. So you're always looking for two different bank numbers, that one and that one. The bank statement and the bank account. And you get a total there, and those totals line up. Okay, this is pretty cool. We're getting really far. I'm going to quickly do the general ledger framework as well, and then, so let me do the general ledger framework. The bank recon statement framework. Make a note of this. Pause the video and write it down. Try and write neater than I do. But it's accounting. Spelling doesn't count, and also the way you write doesn't count. And I think I just moved my board. No, we're still in. There we go. Okay, we're going to do the general ledger. Bank account. Now, general ledger means T account. T account. So you T account it, debit this side, credit this side. Because bank is an asset, you know from my previous videos, it looks like this. And because it looks like that, if you have a positive bank balance, which side must it be? A positive bank balance, positive, will be on this side. So you'll have your bank balance as per the bank account of the general ledger. This is not your bank statement. Not your bank statement. This is your bank account. That number goes over there. Then through the month, you'll get more money in. All the money you get in through the month, you're going to record in your cash receipts journal and everywhere. And you're going to write here total receipts. If English is not your first language, it's really funny spelling, so try and just get the spelling right. R-E-C-E-I-P-T-S, it's quite funny, but anyways. So total receivables goes over here, and we like this one, so it's a little hard because it's money coming into our business that makes our balance more. But with any business, there's also money going out. So here we have total payments. It's part of running a business, but I'll put the heart upside down. Okay, that is pretty much all you're going to have. Then you write a total sign, and you count that plus that. So if that was 100 and this was 100, your total would be 200. Now let's say hypothetically this was 80. You can't do the 80 there. It's just not the way you do it in accounting. In accounting, if this one is 200, this one must be 200 because we're now working on a total. 100 plus 100 is 200. This side is also 200. So there's a missing amount here that'll make the 80 200, and that's 120. And that is your balance. I think it's something like carried down or something. They make something funny. Balance, and then over here you have your balance 120, and I think it's something like that brought down. So this is the framework for your general ledger bank account. It's not a very hard ledger once you've got the framework. I haven't even looked at the question. I haven't put any numbers in. I've just written bank account, debit that side, credit that side. We have our balance and we have our total receipts, total payments. We work this balance out for ourselves and we copy it over here. You see those two are the same. Great. That is pretty much the framework for the bank recon. I haven't done the cash receipts journals in detail, but I have issues with YouTube when I try and upload a video that's longer than 15 minutes. It's really a big hassle. So I'm going to cut this one short and then I'm going to do the numbers of this TUT in the next video. Okay, so I'll call this video Bank Recon Frameworks. Cool. Good luck.